Yo, what is up, buddy? Destructor Gaming Channel here, and today got yourselves a review from my childhood, of course. A little game I enjoyed called Trials HD. So let's get into this game. So, what is Trials HD? Well, if I were to sum up like this, it's a 2.5D physics-based racing game at its core. And what I mean by this is like when you start playing the game, you pretty much have to just kind of like move through like the obstacles with the right amount of speed, because if you go too low, you're going to just fall into the pit of like and just, you know, crash, or you go too fast, you know, it's kind of like that, which is probably part of the reason why it's, you know, very much puzzle like, you know. There's definitely elements of puzzling here, you know. There's a reason why on Wikipedia it's like states it's like a fucking puzzle racing game, and you can definitely see why. There's a lot of strategy involved in this game while trying to be as fast as possible. So like that's kind of like the crux of the gameplay. When you play the game, when you like play on your bike, you just gotta make sure you do everything right and go through like the crazy extreme courses, you know, throughout the levels, and just make sure you don't die. Really, that's pretty much like the gameplay in a nutshell. Now let's talk about the game modes we can do with this, like, you know, puzzle like physics-based racer. The modes ranges as follows: basic, like, you know, difficulty stages from like beginner to extreme. And of course, other game modes include like tournament, which is basically like the levels from like the aforementioned, you know, beginner to extreme courses, depending on which tournament and mode it is. And you just play in a gauntlet style where you cannot, like, you know, restart from the beginning of the level, so you can keep you having a perfect score, basically, so no faults. That's kind of what the tournament mode is. And the last thing, it's just basically like mini games. These aren't really like real levels per se. They're more like just like little challenges. Like, for example, how far you can get to a level while being on fire, or like, you know, let's see how far you can like launch yourself to like a certain thing, or like being a giant ball to go how far you can, or, you know, break as much bones in your body as possible, falling all the way down and shit like that. You know, just crazy little shit like that. And honestly, it's pretty good that way. The game modes, while there isn't much, does give you enough to do. And as for like actual like content, like there's a good amount of levels when you play the game and stuff. Extreme is a little lacking. I wish there was a little more extreme levels, so if you have the game's DLCs, you can get more, which is a good thing. I recommend getting the DLC since the game is pretty cheap these days. So like if you're gonna grab the game, grab its DLCs as well. You get more courses and more things to do, really. But that's just a little nitpick. As for like the challenge, again, since this game is part puzzle game, this game is quite challenging. Just in the idea, you gotta think, am I gonna like shoot this shot? Am I gonna undershoot it? You know, you gotta make sure you get it just right. Am I going fast? You know, am I going fast enough or too fast? You gotta make sure you land things correctly, especially going to the air. Make sure you land on the correct position. Otherwise, you may, you know, you may die. You know, you may just like not get what you want, or you may not just get up to like your destination. As you progressively go through the levels, a lot of these levels require you to do a lot more crazy tricks and timing, especially be on one wheel. Make sure you go on to like the next part of the stage, and it's pretty brutal, really, especially to get on like later difficulties on hard and extreme. It's like, it's fucking tough. You can still beat the level and get the gold medal, but it's tough, man. And it's definitely not something that it's easy. And definitely in terms of challenge, I could definitely notice that it could be a bit stingy at points with its medals, like asking for like ridiculous timings, even though you did a really good job. But that's usually like, you know, only a here or there situation. It's not very common. It's pretty reasonable and fair on the timing department, but some of it is pretty stingy. So you better know what you're doing with the game. It's not just some like, oh, I can just pick this game up and just go do. No, you gotta really know what you're doing. You gotta use your head while having fun and going extreme and shit. You know, and speaking of like overall gameplay, replayability, again, since there's only like what 3 like core things to do, the game sucks you in by, of course, the time shit. Again, like as you go through the levels, you have like really 3 main medals: bronze, silver, and gold. Now there's a 4th one, but that's like completely optional in my opinion. Is like the, I don't know, I'll call it the extreme medal. Like if you do really good, yeah, you can get the best timing and stuff. And what I like about this replayability in this game, it just forces yourself, hey, I can like, let's just say for example, you got like, you finished the level in like about 45 seconds and you got silver, but like the gold is like 30 seconds. Well, hey, if I can finish this level in 30 seconds, you know, under so, I get the gold. And it, you know, it tests you to keep doing it over and over again. It's very addicting that way. I think the developers knew what they were doing with that, and it really shows. And the replayability is off the charts. It goes for every mode. Like, you know, you just want to do better. You don't want to get like the bronze medal. Like, by the time you beat it, it's like, wow, you know, whatever. Like, especially if you go play through like the gold, it's just like chef's kiss. You know what I'm saying, dog? Like, you just don't want to like just get like the lowest of the low. You want to keep at the game. You keep playing it over and over again. Now, now I'm gonna get into like the basic presentation of it. Graphically, I mean, for 2009, it looks fine. It looks nice for what it is. I like the art style personally. I like the warehouse grindy look to it. You know, I definitely feel like the other games in this series, like Fusion and stuff, kind of lost the way, and it started going with this futuristic stuff, and it just kind of was like bland. Like, they lost the look. I love like the grindy, like, you know, style. I wouldn't mind it being like, I like to see them in an arena with like fans in the future, which they kind of did later on. But like, I love like the grindy, like, you know, underground feel of the style of the game. The art style is, you know, very good. That's like the strong like suit of it. Other presentation things in terms of like music, I mean, it's alright. I mean, it's basic generic like pump up rock music. You know, whenever you hear it in like the background, there isn't really much. It's just kind of like stuff like that fits with the game's tone and atmosphere. And of course, there's like corny little voice lines, which I think are done by the Jackass crew, I believe. Which, that's the case, that's cool. So there's the little things like that. They just kind of keep you really interested. It's not really looking for much graphics. It's mostly just like, you just pick the game up and start playing it, really. So if you're expecting complex story, nah, forget about it. It's just have fun, really. Overall verdict, I probably will give this game a 9 out of 10. It's a very good game. I really recommend it. It's a classic. If you can get it on Xbox with backwards compatible, I highly recommend you do so. I probably would recommend getting it on like the PC and shit. Like, I think, oh, actually, no, it isn't on PC. I really just check quickly. No, I wish it was on PC. I think it should be on gaming PCs like Steam and stuff. So, but that's just it. If you have an Xbox, you know, like a current gen Xbox or even an old 360, you can still play online. Go ahead and give this game a try. It won't hurt. It's only like a couple bucks or something, which shouldn't be too much. And if you can grab its DLCs, great. You're going to get a lot of fun. You're going to get like plenty of hours worth of replayability. So yeah, that has been my Trials HD review. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Take care, and of course, God bless you all.